Oh man, I am late. I am late. I am late. I am late. I am so sorry, but I am here. I am 59% sure I am not on drugs. 59%. I am very sorry. I did not realize I was going to be this late. So I am double checking. I am good to go. So everybody, I am so sorry I am late, but I am very jacked up. It's been a very long week. So I'm very, very excited to talk football, share my opinion here. I'm going to break down the AFC North. And the best part about this video, even though I'm running late, the best part about this video is that there are some really good opportunities here. There are some really good opportunities to make some money on the AFC North. One Pride 40, welcome, brother. He says it's the Browns division. Well, maybe. So I am very jacked up. I just got done finishing an energy drink. I'm going to have a cup of coffee. And even though I'm late, and I do apologize, very rude of me, I am going to share my screen. We're just going to start off the show running. All right. What we have here is something that I'm really glad One Pride 40 pointed that out, because a lot of people feel like Cleveland is now the second best team in the division. A lot of people are putting Pittsburgh as the back burner. Nobody has Cincinnati. This is a crazy high number. I think it's actually the highest number that you'll see for a division winner. Pittsburgh at plus 400. If you notice, 400's less than double of what Cleveland has. So teams really believe in Cleveland and Baltimore. And for those of you who aren't familiar with sports betting, basically the positive number that you're seeing here for Baltimore, Cleveland, actually all the teams, means that you wager $100, you're going to win 115. If you believe like One Pride 40 says, where he says it's the Browns division, you wager $150. You wager $100, you will win 150. A lot of people feel like it's between Baltimore and Cleveland. I disagree. I actually think Pittsburgh is a threat, but if I had to choose a winner, I would go with Baltimore. I feel pretty good about Baltimore in this division, but I think Pittsburgh's a bigger threat than people think. The reason why I'm not as high on Cleveland as most people is that it's been proven when you have a perennial loser and then that 1 year spike, they usually come back down the second season. They snuck up on a lot of teams last year. I don't think they're going to do the same thing this year, especially Pittsburgh. I really think that Pittsburgh will sweep them this year. In the draft, I think all these teams drafted really, really well. I'm not sure why it's blanking. I think all these teams drafted really, really well. Baltimore and Cleveland got B pluses, very close to giving them both A grades. Pittsburgh I gave a C plus to because I was really worried about the offensive line situation. I'm still not 100% sold on it. However, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it again when I do a fantasy football video. Najee Harris is going to have a monster season. It would not surprise me if he has over 400 touches. It wouldn't surprise me if he leads the NFL in touches. It also would not surprise me if he breaks Eric Dickerson's single season rushing record for a rookie. I'm not saying he's going to go over 2105, but Eric Dickerson's rookie season, I think it was 1808. I could be wrong about that, but I know it's over 1800. It wouldn't surprise me if Najee Harris beats that. One Pride 40, man, I'm glad to be here. I'm very, very sorry I am running late. I am 59% sure I am not on drugs. I am going to this weekend, and I've been saying this for a while, but I'm actually going to do it this weekend. I'm going to reach out to Luke G, and because next week I am going to do the NFC North, unless Luke G is dying to do it with me, he needs to do it a different day. Those Lamar date breaker. No. Najee Harris may break Eric Dickerson's rookie rushing record. I think if you're a fantasy football participant, Najee Harris is going to have a very big season. I am not on drugs, One Pride 40. Not on drugs. But Najee Harris, not Lamar Jackson, Najee Harris is going to have a monster season. I'm going to do a show. I don't have an exact date for it yet. I'm going to do it 3 weeks. I might do it 4 weeks before fantasy football. But before the drafts, I'm going to go ahead and get that going. I can't see Steelers offense. No, it's not good. They had a couple players that, of course, Pouncey retired. I think they cut their starting left tackle. But they still got David DeCastro, who's pretty solid. In the past, they've been able to do pretty well with just bringing guys into the fold. Even with just an average defensive line, the Ravens have had problems against the run in the past. They've had some free agent defections. Cleveland defense is not very good against the run. Myles Garrett, one of the all-time best pass rushers. I kept on hearing that he's good against the run. He's not. He doesn't even seem interested in stopping the run. And Cincinnati's defense is going to be kind of up in the air. But no, I think that here's the thing. Pittsburgh threw the ball more than any other team last year. So they're going to be a lot more balanced. And I think that they're going to run the ball. Keep in mind, they got weapons. One thing that a lot of people don't realize about the Pittsburgh Steelers, they got weapons on the outside. I think they want to be a more run-balanced team. I think that Najee Harris will allow that. And I think he's going to have a monster year. I really believe that. Yes. Well, I mean, there's no saying that, but I do think that even with an average offensive line, Najee Harris is going to have a big season. I guarantee Luke comes on for you. I have not asked him yet. I'm going to this weekend. I got his number, but I haven't talked to him in a long time. I'm going to hit him up on social media and see if he'd be interested in coming on the show and talking about the NFC North. I know that his show ends usually before mine starts, so I think the timeline will do good. But depending on what he's up for, keep in mind, I should have asked him before now, but I am this weekend. I would love to get Luke's opinion on the NFC North. I already have my opinion done, all right? I have all 8 divisions already done. I can evaluate all of them at the drop of a hat. But I think that he would, if he's interested, I think I'd like to get his opinion. Mike, welcome, brother. And no, I'm not, there's no disagreeing. There's no disagreeing on here. But you can go back in time, and every team that's had several bad seasons that spikes up always comes back down. Take a look at my Kansas City Chiefs. They were a 2-win team. Andy Reid shows up. They win 11. The next season, they dip back down to 9. The Chicago Bears, look at when Matt Nagy first came in, they had, I think it was 5 or 6 straight seasons, double-digit losses. They win 12 games. The next season, I think it's 8, but they didn't make the playoffs. Take another team, San Francisco 49ers. What happens with the 49ers? Double-digit losses, double-digit losses, double-digit losses. Super Bowl, double-digit losses the very next year. Usually when you have a team that spikes 6 or more wins in a season, which did happen with Cleveland, then they usually spike down. So even though on paper, let's say you're playing Madden, I think, if you're playing Madden, Cleveland Browns win this division. But I don't see it. I think, do you remember 2 years ago, there was all this hype about Cleveland being a sleeper team, then they're 7-9, coach gets fired. I kind of get that same feel. Another thing is that they played a lot better when OBJ went out. I don't know if anybody else caught that, but when OBJ was injured, they actually played better. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. Yeah. Well, he has a show earlier in the day, and I try not to get on because when I get off of work and I come straight here. I work from home. I do the show from home. But when I get on Luke G's show, then I stop working at my normal job, which isn't that important. Anyway, if you're watching and you're one of my colleagues, I'm teasing, obviously. But, yeah. It's very hard for me to do my job and pay attention to Luke G Field Review. So I used to listen to a lot of his shows afterwards. I have time constraints. I don't listen to as much as I would like to, but I do support his show and I promote him every chance I get. Even if he says, no, I don't want to come on, I'd still would promote his show. I think the world of Luke. So they're getting there. And by the way, they're getting there. 2023, they may be there because they're going to have a ton of draft picks. What's good? Funk, what's up? Okay. Here's the deal. I was talking about the Bears because they had that spike. And this is the deal with Cleveland. Anytime you spike up a large amount in wins, you usually come back down the next season. I think that we're going to see that in Cleveland because I don't believe that the Cleveland Browns are as good as everybody says they are. All right. That's what I say. So one pride Lions have like it. It's we got trash talking already, man. I love it. It's fantastic. This is why this is such a great show, not because of me showing up late, being a jackass. It's because you guys really make my day. I've been looking forward to talking football all week, so I'm so glad we got some trash talking. I'm going to break down the over-unders here because this is the same thing as it's directly related to who's going to win the AFC North. Baltimore, over-unders 11. I think that's a good number. I think it's a fair number. It wouldn't surprise me if towards the season, if they don't have any injuries, I think Baltimore could be that number could jump up to 11.5. As you can see, it's pretty even across the board. People are betting on both ways. It's become kind of common knowledge that Lamar Jackson has problems throwing outside the numbers, even though he's got a really good arm. That's been kind of a weakness of his. I think that the Ravens will be able to shore up the rest of it, but there's some questions. Cleveland over-under is 10. As you can see, people like One Pride 40 will tell you that this is a very solid bet. A lot of action on over 10. This number, I really believe, goes up. I definitely think it'll be 10.5 before the season starts, maybe 11. It's very rare for a team to jump up one whole game, but it is possible. Pittsburgh, this is very interesting because if you notice, Pittsburgh is the only team that has a positive number by the over. So a lot of people are thinking that they're going to win less than 9 games. I think this number will stay the same. This number will fluctuate. I think that there's going to be more people are going to bet on the over for the Steelers. Cincinnati, same as Baltimore, 6.5. I honestly think that number might be a little high, but I did like their draft, and I have liked what they've done in the offseason so far. I'm not sure Burrow is going to be 100%. So to answer your question, One Pride 40, yes, I do think they're overrated. And the reason why is that look over the last several years, anytime there's been a team that's been a consistent loser, take my Chiefs, for example, constant loser. Then they get a new coach, Andy Reid. They spike from 2 wins to 11 wins. What happens the very next year? They dip back down. And this is with Andy Reid. Kevin Stefanski is not in Andy Reid's class. He is not. I'm going to go even further. You know who's more responsible for the Browns' success last year? The guy who's in your city, and that's John Dorsey. He's the one who built that team. He's gone. All right? He's gone. He's no longer there. Stefanski didn't build that team. John Dorsey did. And with Dorsey gone, Stefanski gets to go ahead and prove his worth as a head coach. By the way, his first-year head coach, look at all that talent they got. Dorsey built that team. Stefanski didn't. But now the Cleveland Browns aren't sneaking up on anybody. They got a bullseye on their back. Anytime you see a team, constant loser, winner, it dips back down. That's what's going to happen to the Cleveland Browns this year. You are not alone in this. You are not alone. And by the way, you can always disagree with me on the show. Everybody knows this. You can disagree with me. I still get rumors that I am on cocaine. I have no idea why, but I'm not. Golf is better than Tua. All right, some more trash talking. So why do you believe Cleveland's overrated? They got talent crawling everywhere. It's a Madden squad. There's been lots of teams that have had talent-laden teams that fall apart. Stefanski, I don't think is a proven head coach. I think that he was a rookie coach and had a lot of talent, low expectations. But this is not a team that I think is really ready. Here's the facts about the Cleveland Browns. I'm not sold on Mayfield. They can't stop the run. Look at the division you're in. And you also have a lot of new pieces in that secondary. The potential's there. All right, the potential is there. If everything clicks on the Cleveland Browns, they could be a 14-win team. There's no debate about that. But anytime you've been a consistent loser and then you spike up that 1 year, it makes a lot of sense that you'll spike back down the next. Okay, this is everything One Pride 40 is saying is true, by the way. I'm just telling you, go back and look at history. Anytime you've seen a team that spikes in talent, San Francisco 49ers, perennial loser, 13-3 season, lose in the Super Bowl. What happened next year? Did they make the playoffs? No, they didn't. I told everybody that this wasn't that good of a team. Nobody believed me, but I was right. I love the trash talk. He's talking about both of these guys. They both stink. Mike is not fond of Tua. I find that very interesting because he's a Dolphins fan who doesn't like Tua. Mike, I think you will change your mind. I think Tua is going to have a really good year if he can stay healthy. Saying golf is better is like saying golf is the kid in the special class. Oh, God. You guys are on fire today, man. We all know it's not. No, I will say this, and when I do a fantasy football video, I'm going to emphasize this. Jamar Chase is going to have a big year because I really think that the Bengals are going to be in a lot of losing situations. So I do expect the Bengals to be throwing the ball quite a bit. It would not surprise me if Jamar Chase has a phenomenal rookie season. But there's some good things that are going on in Cincinnati. I actually do believe Joe Mixon, if he was on a different team, he'd be an MVP candidate. The defense, I like a lot of the changes that they made, but I think they're doing the right thing. I don't like the coach, and I think they got a lot of work to do, and I think this division is going to be tough. You want to be the key is if you're a perennial loser and you spike up, you always come back down. That's been one constant. So I'm not taking I know I'm going to talk about that here in a little bit, and you'll understand why. But remember, there's no guarantee he's going to be ready for week 1. There's no guarantee. Apparently, he's in mini camp and he looks okay, but I'm not sold on him being I'm definitely not sold on him being 100% week 1. I'll talk about that here in a bit. Okay, Funk, this really bothers me because I agree with you. What the hell are we doing agreeing with each other all the time? First, during the draft, we were almost on the same page for almost every draft pick. Now we agree on this. I mean, we also had the same agreement on the Detroit Lions. Bright future, bad 2021. We're on the same page about everything. It's pretty damn scary. It's pretty damn scary. Are you you ever watch what's that movie Total Recall? It's like the fake guy. That's what I think it's Funk's been. Funk is not really being Funk right now. So One Pride 40 says Cleveland. The talent's in Cleveland. I just don't think the production's going to work there. I hope Tua works out 5 interceptions and okay. I'll play devil's advocate. In Kansas City, the media was going nuts. Patrick Mahomes' first season because every mini camp and every practice, he was just throwing interceptions left and right. And Andy Reid said, don't worry about it. He's going to be fine. But he threw a ton of interceptions. It was all over. They're like, there's no way because Alex Smith was known for not throwing a lot of interceptions. And Mahomes in mini camp was throwing interceptions left and right. So people were worried. Mahomes ended up MVP. Now, am I comparing Tua to Mahomes? No, I'm not. but the comparison as far as the interceptions is valid. Don't worry about it. Seriously, Kansas City, people were really, really not happy with Mahomes before he stepped on the field, had over 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns, MVP season. People were very unhappy with Mahomes because we kept on seeing interception after interception. Keep in mind, Andy Reid against Brian Flores. Andy Reid's a slightly better offensive coach. So, Mike, we're talking about practice. Should have took Herbert. It's funny because remember when they started off 0-9, there was the rumors that they were tanking so they could get Tua, and then Tua got injured. Remember, Tua was not 100% last year. He wasn't 100%. So I'm kind of surprised at the heat that Tua's getting, but I think if he's healthy, he has a very, very good season. I know the Chargers were very high on Herbert because they watched him play all 4 years on the West Coast. So I know the Chargers were very high on Herbert, but I'm not sure how. A lot of people were convinced Herbert's going to be a bust. By the way, after 1 year, I think people need to put the brakes on Herbert. Cool. The Steelers are going to win it, and Big Ben will have the best year of his life. I'm going to talk about the Steelers in a little more depth, though. I got to look at Stefanski. You know what? It's not just Stefanski's coaching staff; it's Stefanski himself. I like a lot of the things that he did. He brought in. He's an offensive-minded guy, and he's known for getting the most out of quarterbacks. They were really worried that Baker Mayfield would end up being the same situation that Sam Darnold was, where he's like seeing ghosts. He doesn't fit in with the offense. And what he's known for is high-level completion percentages, bootlegs, rollouts. These are all things Baker Mayfield does well. Baker Mayfield, in my opinion, is a good, never going to be a great elite quarterback. Would I say he's one of the best 15 quarterbacks in football? Probably. Was he top 10 quarterback? No. Can they stop the run? And that's something that I don't think they can do. And look at the division that you're in. So, but Stefanski, I'm going to say this: Dorsey is more responsible for the Browns being successful in this season than Stefanski. Now, if they take a step up, which would mean getting to an AFC Championship game, then I would put that on Stefanski. But he's got a lot to prove this year. So, oh no, Pete, man, I was telling Mike last show. I'm glad you're here, brother. I will join as soon as I. Brian, I was just trying to disagree with you. Oh man, you guys are fantastic. Pete, I'm very glad to hear from you, brother. Very glad to hear from you. Let me ask you something. One Pride 40, you are putting money on Cleveland. Are you putting this? Are you betting them to win the division, or are you betting them? I'm going to tell you this, all right? Do not take this number. This is a bad number, so be careful. But let me know what kind of action you're putting. I remember that. He was very happy sitting on the bench. And that's what should have happened. He should have sat on the bench the whole season, recovered from his injury. But I do think he's going to have a good year this year if he can stay healthy, and that's a big if. Campbell said, you're only as good as the people around you, and he is not wrong. That is definitely true. That is definitely true. And, hey, guys, Rodgers looked awful in camp before he ever started to. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, Funk, I know people – if you ask every Chiefs fan, I think every Chiefs fan is going to say the same exact thing. I knew Mahomes was going to be the greatest quarterback as soon as the Chiefs drafted him, and it's bullshit. I wasn't happy about it. We could have got Tre'Davious White. That's the guy that was chosen, and he's a Pro Bowl corner. He'd be a starter. He would be our best defensive back. Maybe next to Matthew. I don't know, but he's a Pro Bowl caliber corner, right? That's who I wanted. We needed a Pro Bowl caliber corner, and I liked Alex Smith. But, yeah, and then the year that, Alex Smith left for Washington, and Patrick Mahomes was going to be the starter, every mini camp, tons of interceptions. Kansas City was in a panic. Nobody was happy. But week 1, he played fantastic. Set all sorts of records. And you always hear, I knew it, which was a bunch of bullshit. But yeah, so you're 100% on board there. Dorsey, yeah, they are. Dorsey, it's fun. I can't remember if it was you or Funk that I was making the comments in, but there's a lot of eerie similarities between what Dorsey and Andy Reid did in Kansas City and what Dorsey is doing in Detroit. There's a lot of very eerie similarities, and what Kansas City did was the same thing that Detroit did. Is that they hired Scott Pioli, a New England executive. They brought in a New England style of offense and defense. We even got Matt Castle, Tom Brady's backup, to be our quarterback, and we tried to be like the Midwest version of the New England Patriots. Same exact thing as the Detroit Lions did. So what did we do? We got rid of that. We brought in John Dorsey. What did the Detroit Lions do? They get rid of that. They bring in John Dorsey, and they do a lot of very similar things. The difference is Kansas City had a lot more talent. They had 6 Pro Bowlers on that 2-14 team. The Detroit Lions did not. But they went ahead and got a quarterback that they liked. We got Alex Smith. You got Jared Goff. You're getting a bunch of turnover in your roster. You're changing philosophies. There's a lot of very similar similarities between what Kansas City did in 2013 and what the Detroit Lions are doing now. So the only thing is, though, while Andy Reid, I think, was able to bring immediate success, I don't see that with Detroit. That's the only difference. So, and Pete is I am very glad to see you, brother. I'll go division. All right. Do let me know. Do me a favor. If you don't follow me on social media already, you email me or let me know when you do. I'm sorry, wrong tab. Do let me know the number that you get and when you place the bet. Do let me know. They have Callahan as their online. Wait a minute. You got Callahan? I thought he was in Cincinnati. Or are you talking about Cincinnati? Cincinnati should have Bill Callahan as their offensive line coach. He's maybe the best offensive line coach in football. Wasn't Mahomes yes, extremely raw. That's why I didn't like him. His footwork seemed terrible. But one thing I didn't know is that he had a near photographic memory. I also didn't know how intelligent he was. And I also didn't know that they didn't really, even though his coach is now the head coach in Arizona, Cliff Kingsbury, and Cliff Kingsbury also spent time in New England as I think it was 3rd string quarterback for a season. They didn't really work on Mahomes' mechanics. They're like, you know what? You can throw anywhere. Just do what you do. Just do what you do. We'll put together the offense. They had no defense. And they couldn't win in college either. That was another thing, is that, you kind of want to see a guy that had the talent of Mahomes have at least a winning record in college, and he didn't. So, yeah, Mahomes was extremely raw. But the thing is that he was subjective to learning, had a near photographic memory. And I cannot emphasize this enough. He had Alex Smith teaching him. Alex Smith embraced him. And Patrick Mahomes has gone out of his way to thank Alex Smith and has said many times that he wouldn't be where he is without Alex Smith. Take a look at Drew Lock in Denver. When Joe Flacco signed a big offseason deal, I was laughing, by the way. I knew it was a bad move right in Denver. And then Drew Lock came to board to ask Joe Flacco, hey, what are you going to do? And he goes, it's not my job to teach him. Was a dick. He was a dick to him the whole time. So, yeah. Ray Agnew and Don Capers helping out too. Yeah, and that was another thing, is that Kansas City brought in a really good coaching staff. And matter of fact, they brought in Matt Nagy. He was actually the quarterback coach. Doug Peterson, who's, led Philly to a Super Bowl, which a couple of years ago they were ready to, crown him as mayor of Philadelphia. Of course, they fired him a couple of years later, but that's that. Defense, Bob Sutton, who for the first couple of years that he was here had one of the best defenses in football. Then, of course, it fell off the roles. And then Andy Reid did something really smart. He replaced him with somebody else who helped the Chiefs win a Super Bowl. So yeah, coaching staff's very important. And I do like all the coaches that Detroit's bringing in. I just have a question about Aaron Glenn being a first-year coordinator, trying to run an exotic defense. That to me screams red flag, but I've said that. Denver Gator, what's up, brother? What's up, peeps? And birthday weekend's officially kicked off. 100% sure I'm getting twisted. Denver Gator, enjoy getting twisted. I myself am not getting twisted. You know it. I know it. Everybody in the chat knows that I am not getting messed up, especially right before a show. I'm just high on life, not cocaine, and energy drinks and coffee. Denver Gator, on a serious note, happy birthday, brother, man. I really appreciate everything you've done for the show. I should do more. Yeah, I'm not going to rant. I'm very glad you're here, man. Have a great weekend. Send me messages. Denver Gator follows me on Twitter. You guys should too. All right. Freezing cold take. I don't think Dorsey wants to be a GM again. I think he's our version of Ed Dodds. That's a possibility. Because I've been saying this, I think that there's not 15 general managers in the NFL better than John Dorsey. Maybe John Dorsey I think he got screwed in Cleveland. I don't want to make this about John. I could rant about John Dorsey for a very long time, but it was a power loss to Andy Reid. That's not, let's be honest. When Andy Reid came to Kansas City, you knew he was going to have the power. So that's not that big of a loss. But I think he got shafted in Cleveland. I don't know the whole story, but that's a very good take. And by the way, if he does want to be a GM again, once Detroit gets built up, and it's just a matter of time, then he can probably pick and choose where he wants to go. So, yeah. By the way, Denver Gator, can you please put in the comments when it's your birthday weekend? Is it today, tomorrow? Is it Sunday? Can you please let me know? If you don't want to, you can send me a message on Twitter. So when's Bieniemy getting a head coaching job? I actually thought it would be this year. I really thought it was going to be this year. I'm leaning towards Kansas City winning a Super Bowl. But it's hard to say that. My favorite right now is actually Tampa Bay. But if Kansas City goes, 13 to 15 wins, which is reasonable, and I know that number sounds crazy, but I really think Kansas City is going to win between 13 and 15 games. If the offense is a top 10 offense, which it should be, Bieniemy will be able to get a job. I think he's just waiting for the right situation. I think he looked at some of these other jobs and he's just like, nah, I'm not really comfortable here. I'm not really comfortable here. I think Denver Gator brought this up and it would scare the shit out of me. But if Denver falters, I could see him taking over Denver and with all those weapons. And by the way, he played in Colorado. That's kind of what I'm really scared of. He may be able to get a situation if things blow up in Houston, but Watson stays there. He may take that job. Could be a variety of different things. One Pride 40 reminds me, okay, I do please. I'm not saying this antagonistic. But please tell me the bet. Let me know what you do. I want to see the bet. I'm going to buy. Please, please, please do not take this number. Please don't bet over. You said you're going to take the division. I want to know, are you putting action plus 150? If you do bet this, do it later because if there's a major injury, this you don't want to take that. So remind me when if you're going to make this bet, do it in September. I'm going to have a 101 football betting video coming August, maybe. I actually should have been working on it now, but I haven't. Goff reminds me of Smith too. Alex Smith was much more athletic, much more mobile. Goff's got a stronger arm, but both of these guys are really accurate passers. Goff. The one thing about Goff's a natural passer. I watched him as a freshman at Cal, and he looked like he weighed 140 pounds. And that was one thing I really liked is he got the NFL. He put on the NFL 20, and he needed to do that. But he looked like he weighed 140 as a freshman at Cal. but he could throw the ball. I mean, that even I think this freshman year they were 1-11, and you could watch him and you're like, wow, this guy can throw, but he's so damn skinny, and he kept on bulking up, and Cal kept getting better and better and better. Now the fallout that he had is golf, your stereotypical California dude. He's just a laid back guy. He's not really a fiery guy. He's not really a vocal guy. Hopefully him and Campbell work together because they're polar opposite personalities. Sometimes you get guys that are polar opposite and it works. Sometimes you get guys that are polar opposite and it busts. It busted with the Rams. Hopefully it works with Detroit. But if it doesn't, then, Campbell's going to get his guy in the draft, which I kind of think they're going to do, but we'll see. I know, I'm always going to be a fan of Alex Smith. Isn't Aaron Rodgers a spoiled brat? I've heard so many bad stories about actually, that's one thing I am going to ask Luke G about if he does agree to go on the show. It'll be the very first question is that, does he think Alex Smith's going to play for the Packers this year? I think he is. Most people disagree with me, though. Smith was all right, nothing special. I disagree because his time in Kansas City just won nothing. Did nothing but win. I mean, they were a 2-win team, took them to 11, then 9, a couple 12-win seasons. Didn't get him far in the playoffs, but he did a lot of really good things. I really thought that if, let's say, you passed on Mahomes and we got Tre'Davious White, a Pro Bowl caliber corner, could we have gone to the Super Bowl? Maybe. Close. He had some really good games. Is he on Mahomes level? No. But without Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes is not Patrick Mahomes, So, yeah. Denver, get an Uber and have fun, man. Oh, yeah. By the way, when is your birthday? If you don't mind, will you let us know in the chat? Alex, welcome, brother. Though I think Pittsburgh isn't going to win a Super Bowl soon due to dumb decisions, and by decisions I mean lack of. I still think that they're a threat to win that division, even with Baltimore. Yes, they are a threat. Devin Bush was having an all-universe type of season. Remember, him and Devin White were considered like 1A and 1B as far as linebackers, where Devin Bush got hurt and then his backup got hurt. They drafted, I think it's Alonzo Highsmith. I know his last name's Highsmith. I think it's Alonzo Highsmith Jr. to replace Bud Dupree. He's going to be good. The defense front seven is going to be awesome. I think they led the NFL in sacks last year. They got Minkah Fitzpatrick, arguably the best free safety in football. Now, Steven Nelson, former Chief, he left via free agency. I don't even know where he went, but he actually played really good. So that's going to be a big loss. They have some questions on the offensive line. But I think Pittsburgh is definitely a threat in this division. I really believe that. And I am going to talk more about Pittsburgh here in a bit. Flacco was – I remember when they signed Flacco, they gave him a lot of money. I think it was a 2-year, $30 million deal. And I was like, wow, you guys messed up. You messed up big time. As a Chiefs fan, I loved it. But making good moves, Pittsburgh so good. Yeah, remember Pittsburgh started off 11-0. And they didn't have a bye. And they had a veteran team. So there's some really good things going on in Pittsburgh, and I'm going to bring that up here in just a little bit. But he had a terrible attitude. I thought it was the bad move. I thought it was a terrible move by Elway bringing in Flacco. I thought that was a bad move. As a Chiefs fan, I loved it. But the one thing I will say is that when they drafted Locke and they said, you know what, Joe, get out of here. We're going to put Locke in. We're going to see what he can do. And they're giving him an opportunity. And I thought what they did that was really smart, they didn't draft a quarterback this year. I do think Locke's on thin ice, though. I mean, he can't start the season 0-7 and not look over his shoulder. So happy birthday, Gator. I'm pissed my enemy isn't. If Houston tanks this year, don't be surprised if Bieniemy becomes the next head coach. Don't be surprised. However, I do want to see what Coley does there because I do like him. He actually was in Kansas City for a while. So, in my opinion, Cleveland wins the division. Ravens too. Well, I mean, both teams can. I'm higher on Baltimore than I am Cleveland, but talent-wise, Cleveland I think has more talent than anybody. When it comes to Dorsey, he hated dealing with contracts in Cleveland, and you're right, did get shafted by Cleveland. Yeah, he had some issues because he played hardball with Justin Houston, and instead of extending him in the offseason, I think it was 2010. Anyway, Justin Houston was a third round pick. Went to a Pro Bowl or two, played at a very, very high level. Just looked like he was a monster. And then instead of signing him that all season, which he should have done, he said, "No, you got to earn it." So what happened? Justin Houston went out, stuffed the run like a monster, and had 22 sacks. Normally that would win you defensive MVP awards, but J.J. Watt had over 20 sacks and won the award. There was a few people, not many, that J.J. Watt, despite his phenomenal season, wasn't universal, the 100%. What word am I looking for? Yeah, universal winner. Yeah, unanimous winner. That's what I was looking for. Wasn't the unanimous winner because Justin Houston's 22 sacks and he was an awesome run stuffer, ended up getting him $100 million, which for an outside linebacker was a record-breaking amount. But Justin Houston was saying, no, you can't pay him as an outside linebacker because in this defense, I'm like a defensive end, so I want Watt money. And they would have been able to sign him just the year before for like 50 or 60 million. And that really ticked the Chiefs off because it showed that if you play hard and you produce numbers for Kansas City, then when it comes to re-sign for your contract, you're going to get dicked around. They dicked around Eric Berry. Then you had to pay Eric Berry an insane amount of money, and Eric Berry played like 4 games after getting all that money. So anyway, sorry for the rant. I don't know if Cleveland can win the division with Pittsburgh and Baltimore being as good as they are. Exactly, Alex. Baltimore's very good, and Pittsburgh's going to be very underrated. I'm going to touch base on this here in a moment. Until the Steelers part with Big Ben, they won't win a Super Bowl anytime soon. Don't forget, Dwayne Haskins is in Pittsburgh, and he's got all the talent in the world. Don't forget, Urban Meyer coached Dwayne Haskins and Joe Burrow, and he said, and Haskins won the job decisively. There was a big difference between Haskins and Burrow. Burrow was here. He was an Ohio kid. He had to leave to LSU because Haskins was better. Haskins has got a world of talent. He is very immature. He's going to the right place in Pittsburgh. He's going to the right situation. If Big Ben goes down, there's a chance Haskins comes in, stays there for the next 12 years. That don't rule that out. Haskins is there. Haskins could be the future. He could also be gone next year. We'll have to find out. Okay, tomorrow. All right, but when it falls on the weekend, just gives me an excuse to cut loose. The next 6 weeks sucks until camp start. That's when this is when all the hot conspiracy theories come out. Well, listen, man, happy birthday. Tear it up for me because you know I'm not on drugs, obviously. And so have some fun for me. Enjoy your weekend. You've earned it, brother. When it comes to me saying Dorsey not taking another GM job, I think he was already married twice, didn't like it. And at this point, I think he wants to stay in Detroit, chill out, and scout talent. That's a possibility because he loved it in Green Bay. Matter of fact, he has a house in Green Bay, real outdoors type. And if you notice, look at the cities he's in: Kansas City, Cleveland, Detroit, Green Bay. Avoided all major metropolitan areas. Maybe he's happy just being number 2. Letting Holmes go ahead and get his credit, get his due, because I think that people will realize, just like you, that Dorsey's doing a fantastic job. So yeah, I'm just happy Dorsey convinced Holmes to chill and let the draft board fall. Yes, you know what? I don't remember off the top of my head who was NFL MVP, but a lot of people agree with you. And those 3 years that he had, those were the 3 best years I've ever seen any 3-4 end have. And then, yeah, 100%. There's only 2 players that have ever won MVP as defensive players, and it's Alan Page and Lawrence Taylor, both of them in Hall of Fame. So, starting to make hot predictions: Texans versus Green Bay, Super Bowl Watson versus Rodgers. You decide who. I love it, man. I love it. All right. Week 1 matchups, and this is very important. Minnesota -3 at Cincinnati. The over-under is 48. By the way, without knowing the situation of Joe Burrow, I'm really surprised this is 3, but it's been steady at 3. Pittsburgh's a 6-point dog at Buffalo. I don't have too much of a problem with this. Kansas City's a 6-point favorite at home for the season opener, so I'm going to touch base on this game here in a bit. I actually think this number is going to go up, to tell you the truth. I think Baltimore end up being a 4.5, maybe a 5-point favorite. Yes, it's in Vegas. This is the Monday night game, if I remember right. Over-under is 51. And I'm going to pay attention to a few of these games here for week 1 because there's some really good betting opportunities available. One Bride 40, who's worse, Lions or Tigers? Minnesota, he got stole my thunder there, Pete. Buffalo under, okay. Cleveland over. That's interesting. You know what? Since you kind of ruined it for me, Pete, I'm very glad you're here. Here's my best bets. You know what? I apologize. Man, I feel like a real jerk. I dropped the ball here. I meant to have this in here, so my apologies. I really dropped the ball here. Anyway. So I not a good job on my part. I apologize. So anyway. Minnesota is known for its slow start, so Burrow is playing. I wouldn't consider Cincy as an easy win. That I normally would agree with, but I do like Minnesota as a 3-point favorite. And the reason why is normally when you have a new offensive coordinator, I'm a little cautious. But this is Gary Kubiak's son. He grew up in the Shanahan system. This isn't like a newbie. They're going to run the same system, same scheme, probably use the same terminology. You got a team that's defense is ready to go against a rebuilt offensive line. And Burrow, there's no way you're going to tell me Burrow is going to be 100%. Minnesota's the team I am really high on, and so is most people. I love Minnesota -3. If this jumps 3.5, I'm not going to touch it, but I do love Minnesota over 3. This game, I am telling you, is going to go way up. By the time kickoff starts, it's going to be 52.5. And I didn't have an opportunity to do this before the show, but one thing I am going to point out is actually I meant to do this sooner. I apologize, making all sorts of mistakes today. But let me point this out with the Kansas City Chiefs. If you don't know anything else about the Kansas City Chiefs, Andy Reid, since he's been in Kansas City, has had season openers. He's 7-1 in Kansas City. And by the way, last year, 34 points in the season opener against Houston. The year before that, 40 points season opener against Jacksonville. And before that, 38 points at the Los Angeles Chargers. So the last 3 years with Mahomes as the quarterback, Kansas City scored 38, 42, and 34 points. I am telling you this for a fact. You have a healthy, highly motivated Kansas City offense going into the season. They're going to put up a lot of points. And I don't think that the defense is just going to stop Cleveland. You're going to say, why is the score only 52.5? Here's why. The AFC divisional round game, 22-17. That's 39 points. Cleveland, Kansas City at Arrowhead. So people are going to think it's going to be a low-scoring game. More people are going to go ahead and take my advice as the season opener. They're going to look at Kansas City at season openers. They're going to look at Andy Reid season opener. To be honest with you, I actually like Kansas City to cover 6 points. But I am going to put action on the over. This is going to be a high-scoring game, all right? The last year's season opener was low-scoring in retrospect, 34-20. I had 54.5, which I lost by half a point. But 38-28 and 40-26. These are high-scoring games. So, yeah. I do like the over in this game. I like Minnesota in 3. And this is the number one over-under. I love Pittsburgh over 9 at plus 120. Since Mike Tomlin's been the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, this is year 13. They have never, ever had a losing season. So you're betting on math, you're betting on statistics, you're betting on history. So I love Pittsburgh over 9. Could they win the division? Yes. I have Baltimore winning, but over 9, I love it. Excuse me. Holmes was about to trade up for Sewell and Levi, and 2 main people that shut it down are Dorsey and Campbell. I did not know that, but I do see Dorsey doing that. I believe KC lost some good players that were big in the offense, but y'all running back wide receiver is holding out. So I don't think Kansas City's the best team. They're pretty even. Tyreek Hill is under contract. He's not holding out. And CEH is not holding out. He was a rookie last year. So both those guys are good. They did lose Watkins, which does worry me. But DeMarcus Robinson and Miracle Hardman are really amped up to try to take over as the number 2 spot. Early in the season, this offense will be very, very explosive. This Kansas City is a team that's very pissed off. So, take the over because I'm telling you this right now. This is going to be a high-scoring game. This is going to take – I like Kansas City in 6, but I'm ignoring that. I'm taking over. And by the way, over 52.5, do some shopping around because I guarantee you a lot of places are going to go to 55. Didn't KC lose the O-line comeback? Oh, I'm sorry. Offensive line comeback guy to an injury. Yes. Kyle Long, who retired and then signed a 1-year deal with Kansas City. He's injured. However, we have LDT coming back from COVID. I can't pronounce the name. Almost Lee. And then we signed the guard from New England to an $80 million contract. So we went from guard being a position of weakness. Plus, we also drafted the center guard combo out of Oklahoma. His name's escaping me off the top of my head. He can play both guard and center, but I have a feeling that he'll be the starting center maybe sometime later in the season. I'm not sure he'll be a starting day 1. But of all the guys that Chiefs can afford to lose to injury, it's one of the guards. He was not even guaranteed to make the roster, even though they gave him $5 million, which is a lot of money. But the Chiefs really went overboard on the offensive line. This is not that big of a loss. He may not have even been starting. So this is a very true statement. One Pride 40. Over aggressiveness comes from yes. We should have some behind the scenes draft content. You should check it out. Funk, was it you or Funk that sent me the video? I watched just the part where I fast forwarded up to because I wanted to see what they were talking about with Tampa Bay. But yes, I would love it. Send me it, man. Listen, you got my email address. You should have my social media. All my social media links are below in the description. Click on any one of them. Yes, send me this stuff, man, because I don't have access to it. You do. So, yes, check it out. Bell's holding out right now, I believe. Bell. Okay, Le'Veon Bell is not a member of the Kansas City Chiefs, so he's not a member of the team at all. He's not. He signed a 1-year deal after the Super Bowl. He was done. He's not in Kansas City. CEH, that's Carlos Edwards-Helaire. CEH, he's our starter, and we got our number 2, number 3 running backs that are all coming back. Bell's not there, and I believe some O linemen aren't there as well. They're actually all coming back. Kyle Long, who signed a 1-year deal after retiring, he got injured. But, yeah, I don't know if this offense will keep us with the Browns, Deeb. I'm not 100% on the Browns offense as well. There are some changes going on with the Chiefs defense. All right. But bottom line, the week 1 matchup, I'm telling you this right now, it's going to be a high-scoring affair. 52.5. Take action on the over. It's going to be lots of points. Believe it or not, week 1, when we played you guys, that was kind of low scoring. Remember, I had 54.5. It was 34-20. Remember, your boy. I'm sorry, Alex. I apologize. That was mean. Do not get mad at me. Kept on going for 2. instead of just kicking extra points. Cost me a nice bet. So Denver Gator, obviously a Chiefs fan, but Bell running his mouth is about one of the respected coaches of all time. Dudes, I don't get that at all. You're not with a roster and you're talking bad about. It's funny because when somebody defended Andy Reid, he goes, half the coaches in this league have been coached at one, have worked with Andy Reid. The other half have coached. I forget what it was, the quote bad thing, but yeah. I don't get the comment. And Bell's said stupid stuff on social media before. He knows better. It might have killed his career, but I don't think it will. I think that he'll get another chance in the NFL, but I'm not sure it'll be before the season starts. I think what'll happen is somebody will go down, and then he'll do the same thing he did, and he'll sign mid through the season. So I thought it was a bad move on Bell's part. I can't wait to watch that Denzel Ward Tyreek Hill matchup cover-wise, except cover-wise, I don't think Denzel gets that respect, but tackling issues are big. Yes, and that is going to be a very underrated matchup. Denzel Ward is phenomenal. I love his game, and I also love that Greedy Williams was drafted by Dorsey, and I thought that was a brilliant decision. Williams got hurt, but he's got all the athletic ability in the world. I think week one will be a tough matchup for both these guys because it's really hard to match up with the Tyreek Hill speed. It's one thing to see it on tape, but it's another thing to go against a guy with literally world-class speed in person. So that's something that I think is an advantage to Kansas City. Keep in mind, Andy Reid season opener 7-1. Last three season openers, 38, 42, 34 points. That trend will continue. The Browns defense also susceptible against the run. The Chiefs went massive again on offensive line. So Chiefs will be able to run the ball, and then Mahomes will make plays. I mean, that's just kind of a given. So this will be a very fun first game of the season. But yeah, that matchup is going to be a big one. Sorry, I've been cooking. Keep is going to be garbage this year. They won't score 10 points a week. Keep is going to be garbage this year. I don't know who you're talking about. Okay, it's the same. I've been meaning to watch the whole thing. I don't know who you're talking about. I don't know. Are you talking about? I think he means Burrow, but I'm not sure he's talking. But I think the Rams are grossly overrated. I mean, here's a team that went to divisional round of the playoffs. Aaron Donald's the best defensive player in the world. They got an upgrade at quarterback if Stafford can stay healthy. There's some skill position talent. If everybody stays healthy, the team's dangerous. I mean, Jalen Ramsey's the best corner, my opinion, the best corner in football. Leonard Floyd, after having some mediocre years, I loved him coming out of Georgia. Absolutely loved him. Didn't really live up to expectations in Chicago. Went to the Rams, lived up to expectations. They signed him to a big contract. If he plays the way he can play, you got the best corner in football, the best defensive player in football. Stafford stays healthy, the team's dangerous. Do I think that they're better than Tampa Bay? No, I don't. But every other team in the NFC, there's kind of question marks about. I haven't done the NFC West yet, but I will tell you my sneaky team in the NFC West is Seattle. I mean, this is a team that quietly got better after all the Russell Wilson noise and talked about, well, I could be traded. And there's talent in Seattle, and they got better this offseason. So. I think the Texans are going to tank but play well enough for most everyone to keep their jobs. Maybe not our head coach, since there are maybe some better choices out there that would be more attracted by our draft capital. No, I actually 100% agree with you, Alex. I think Coley was kind of a dark horse candidate, not a very popular known candidate, because he has the potential to be good, but if this does blow up, it's not like you brought in a big name guy that would cost, 20, 30, 40 million dollars if things, don't work out. So I think that's kind of a calculated move, is that you took a respected guy who was kind of a dark horse candidate for the head coach, because if things do blow up and you end up with the first pick in the draft, or maybe a bigger name candidate who's available to take over. I know you would probably hate this, but you could have somebody like Jason Garrett. You could have Eric Bieniemy. You could have a big name college coach take over, which Dabo Swinney's been rumored. You could have the guy at Oklahoma. I'm drawing a complete blank on his name right now. Who's Lincoln Riley, who's been rumored to sync up with several coaching candidates. Plus, there's going to probably be 4 to 6 coaches that are going to be fired. Maybe there's somebody gets fired that you got your eye on. Kyle Shanahan, for example, I think he's on the hot seat in San Francisco. If they end up winning 4 or 5 games, he could be available. That would be an interesting story. You know, Gary Kubiak coached there and did have some success. So getting Kyle Shanahan might be kind of interesting. But yeah, I could see that. And I could also see Coley, if he does a good job, the Houston Texans just saying, hey, we did our job. We got the right guy. So yeah. I think the Rams believe they're in a win now situation, so that's how they're going into the season. And I agree with that because they got Aaron Donald going into his 6th or 7th season. He's the best defensive player in football. They know that he can't keep that up for a long period of time. You got Jalen Ramsey. He's the best corner in football. Then you get a really good all-around outside linebacker in Leonard Floyd, who finally exploded. So you got those guys together. That's pretty damn good. On the offensive side of the ball, you believe you got an upgrade in quarterback and Stafford. You have some pretty good skill position players. You have some good receivers. Cooper Kupp. I'm drawing a blank. The former USC wide Robert. Drawing a complete blank on his name. You got some pretty good tight ends. I think that they believe that they're in a win now situation. So that's why they traded a lot of draft capital for players. So yeah. All right, I apologize. I'm ranting a little more. The problem with the Rams is our offensive line. I'm hearing that is not news. McVay having an ego, but he's also done a very good job with the Rams. So I mean, his ego is deserved. But there's a lot of things that could go wrong. So yeah. LOL. It's supposed to say Kansas City. Fuck. If Kansas City regresses a lot, I'd be laughing. There are some question marks. I mean, without Sammy Watkins, the team is a lot different. And you also have multiple offensive line replacements where, you know, they had Eric Fisher on one side. You had it's not Eric Schwartz, Mitchell Schwartz on the other side. They were 2 proven really good tackles. Well, now you got basically you're going to have a brand new offensive line, and offensive line sometimes takes a while to gel. I have a lot more faith in Andy Reid, but that is a question. Who steps up as the number 2 receiver? Because if Miracle Hardman and Marcus Robinson don't step up, then you can double team Hill, double team Kelsey. You know, you only got 11 players. So last year it was a lot of Kelsey, and then you had to fear the deep threat of Hill. But let's just say Hill goes down. You can triple team Kelsey, and then you'll have nothing else to worry about unless one of these other guys step up. I was kind of hoping that this being a deep wide receiver draft, they may take advantage, but the only thing they did was the wide receiver out of Clemson that they took late. And so far, training camp, mini camp, whatever, he's not been standing out like Tyreek Hill did. So, yeah. Stevie, what is up, brother? I'm quite a bit late tonight. Sorry to miss seeing Dan while the blow was still freshly energizing him. Stevie, you know I am not on drugs, but I am damn glad to see you, brother. Damn glad to see you. Bill should go to the Texans' final piece of their master plan. All running back offense. Nobody will help. By the way, this is just absolutely gold. There's certainly a toxic enough org Denver. Bell to the Texans. I don't believe it. The Raiders would also make sense since they love toxicity. Gruden, you know what? The old Raiders, but Gruden and the general manager there. No, they've actually done a good job. They've done some really good things. I didn't like what they did in the offensive line, losing some players, and I hated the fact they didn't add their or didn't improve their defensive tackle position. But I haven't broke down the AFC West, so yeah. But Bell to the Texans, I do love it. Bell will be our number 1. I'm just loving this, man. Just playing devil's advocate, Browns can run the ball and control the clock. That will be their game plan unless it gets away. No, Mike, you're actually right about this. They will control the clock, but Kansas City doesn't need time to score. Kansas City can score as fast as anybody. So yeah, I actually agree with you. But the thing is, though, you're not going to have a 7-minute drive and kick a field goal. And if you do, then Kansas City's going to score a touchdown and then another 7 minutes, kick a field goal. So the score would be 7-6. But Kansas City can put up points in a hurry. The thing is that will be the plan to shorten the game. And both teams are actually going to do that. Kansas City, here's the thing. I think Kansas City is going to be a high-scoring offense, but they are going to try to run the ball. All right? You got a 355-pound left tackle. He's not going to be pass protecting 80% of the time. It's probably going to be 60 to 70% of the time. But they are going to try to run the ball a little more. Cleveland is going to try to run the ball. I mean, that's how you beat Kansas City. However, Kansas City can score fast. And I also think that because they do have two really, really good running backs and a very good offensive line, I think if you do have a 7-minute drive, it's not going to be a field goal. It's going to be a touchdown. So I do think teams will be trading touchdowns back and forth where Kansas City may score in 2 minutes. Cleveland will score in 7. So yes, and I want more people to put in comments like this. I'm just telling you the last 3 season openers, the smallest number with Mahomes is 34. So just throwing that out there. Yeah. If we sign Garrett, oh God, that is awesome. I'm just saying it could happen. It could happen. I don't have a list of top assistants. I think the enemy would be on the top. Both assistants with Tampa Bay. The former quarterback out of Marshall, drawing a blank on his name, and the defensive coordinator was the Jets head coach. Those 2 guys, big candidates. Bieniemy's big candidate. Anybody else off the top of my head, I'm just drawing a blank. Q-Sis. They love to reach too, aka reach. Jesus. One Pride 40's coming in with the reach around Raiders. Damn. Oh, God. I don't think he'd be that bad. Bell still got 4 yards per carry. The carries he got behind the Chiefs' offensive line, it wasn't exactly built for. No, it wasn't. This offensive line actually is. But, I mean, you got Patrick Mahomes and you got Andy Reid, so they're going to throw around. I don't get this, man. Stevie, I won't be a football fan if he's our next head coach. Alex, jump on board the Chiefs bandwagon. There's plenty of room here, brother. Danny rant. I do rant way too damn much, Funk. I do rant way too much. System of a Down is in the queue. By the way, in case you tuned in late, tomorrow is Denver Gator's birthday. So Denver Gator is lit up. He is on drugs and alcohol, unlike me. The trade of Carlos Hyde to the Texans from the Chiefs in preseason was a boost in success, really testifies how bad our offensive line was at run blocking. Yes, I remember that. I remember the game he had. He had over 100 yards against Kansas City, played pissed off. Yeah, but offensive line is going to be very interesting this year. So, seriously, we were 14-2, and that one loss was we had all of our backups in because we already got home field advantage. I mean, we could be a 13-4 team and regress. So could be. If anything, I do think it's close. I would feel a lot better if we had a number 2 wide receiver like Watkins was. So I liked Carlos Hyde. I actually had really high hopes for him here in Kansas City, and then we drafted this 6th-round running back out of Utah State, and he had a phenomenal preseason, and he kept on doing better and better and better, and so that was the reason why we got rid of Hyde, and then we never used him. So, and then we drafted CEH in the 1st round. So I was like, I really was high on Carlos Hyde. I thought that they would use him more as a power back, but never did. And then when he panned out with Houston, I actually thought they were going to re-sign him, and they didn't. So We had a running back that fit the scheme, a guy that can force his way down the field, and we let him. Yes, you did. I wanted him to stay in Kansas City. I always liked Carlos Hyde. I loved him out of Ohio State. He had some really good years, and then all of a sudden, nobody wants him. I don't know if like he has like BO from hell or something. I have no idea. I think CEH finally has his year. Danny was talking about working on his hands and working on routes out of the slot and outside. I'm going to tell you this right now. CEH, if you are a fantasy football fan, CEH is going to have a monster year. If he stays healthy, he's going to have one of those. You remember Priest Holmes. He's going to have a Priest Holmes type statistical season. It would not surprise me if he has over 1,200 yards rushing and another 600-700 yards receiving, probably 12 touchdowns. CEH is going to have a massive year. He is going to have a massive year. He's going to be used a lot. I really think he's going to have about 300 to 350 touches. Well, Andy Reid doesn't want to do that much. I would say 300 touches, but I think he's going to have something like 70 to 80 catches. CEH is going to have a lot of catches. If you're in a PPR league, matter of fact, it wouldn't surprise me. CEH is the number 2 receiver on the team behind Kelsey. I think it'll be Kelsey, CEH, and Tyreek Hill. Actually, it's going to be in that order. CEH is going to have a lot of catches. So yeah. But yeah, I'm sorry I'm behind on comments. Nothing but right. The Raiders are going for my future defense, the 2-0. You're not far off. I don't get why the Raiders didn't take a defensive tackle. You brought in all these guys that you won a Super Bowl with in Tampa Bay with that great defensive line, and you don't draft or you go after a great defensive tackle. It made no sense. But as a Chiefs fan, I love it. There's nothing saying we can't. I saw Iowa State run a 3-1-7 funk. Actually, they did. They really did. And they stuffed a run for a loss going against Oklahoma State doing it. Well, that's exactly the 3-1-7 is what the Raiders are trying to do. Steve, it sounded like a Clemson defense. Actually, it does. The Iowa State coach is very okay. I'm not going to rant about the Iowa State coach. Byron Leftwich, yes. Yes. Dan, how's your system doing? All these drugs surely. It's just an energy drink and coffee, all health stuff. So, Alex, I know you're watching a lot of baseball, and I'm pulling for your Houston Astros, even though I have no idea what's going on in baseball. So, if you use your 2 corners and 5 safeties with 4 of them that are strong safeties, downhill guys, it could work. Mine was OM. Dan, the time I'm a Kansas City fan, I've already forfeit my rights. I'm telling you right now, your Texans are not in that bad of shape. It's going to be an interesting year. So, Denver, do they let the bodies hit the floor right? One pride, happy birthday, Geminis represent. The Chiefs are the original. They are. And they were originally the Dallas Texans. They moved to Kansas City because of Clark Hunt. A lot of people don't know this, but the Hunt family, the owners of the Kansas City Chiefs, actually still live in Dallas. And Clark Hunt's worth at least 3 times what Jerry Jones is. A lot of people think that Jerry Jones is the richest man in Dallas. He is not even close. It's actually Clark Hunt, the Chiefs owner, is like triple the wealth of Jerry Jones. Not a lot of people know that. So we got some big happy birthday. I'm an aquarium. Oh my God. Dan ain't going to share any of his blow with you, though. You have to buy your own. I'm not on drugs, guys. I'm not on drugs. I'll become a Chiefs fan when they return to Texas or rifle. All right, this okay. Little rant. I'm gonna try to keep this short. In 2012, when we went 2-14, the worst year in Chiefs history, on and off the field, there was talk about boycotting, and I told people don't do it because in San Antonio, they already have a stadium. And if the Chiefs stopped selling out Arrowhead, Clark Hunt would have no problem moving the Chiefs to San Antonio. And people thought I was nuts, but that's what happened. And you know what? We'll just go ahead and I'll be a full screen here. So it wouldn't surprise me if the Chiefs stopped selling out Arrowhead that he would go ahead and move the Chiefs to San Antonio. San Antonio sooner or later is getting a football team, by the way. So I think 300 is probably tops for the touch the CEH will get. I think 300, maybe 350. I keep in mind 17 games. You want to keep CEH healthy for the playoffs. If the Chiefs do like they did last year, they wrap up the division early, wrap up the number one seed by week 16, week 17. Then of course CEH isn't going to play. But yeah, I think you're probably right. But I think 70 or 80 carries. 70, 80 receptions. So. Star trade cut, Reggie White, Lawrence Taylor, Kevin Green. Oh, God, that is really hard. Cut Kevin Green, trade Reggie White, start Lawrence Taylor. That's a tough one. And by the way, I know I was fast with cut Kevin Green, one of my all-time favorite players at Pittsburgh as a 3-4 outside linebacker, as good as it gets. Phenomenal coach. Love Kevin Green. The NFL Network had top 100 players of all time. I don't know where Kevin Green was on the list, but Reggie White was 8. Lawrence Taylor was 3. And I thought those were pretty good places. Is Kevin Green one of the top 10 greatest players of all time? No. Is Reggie White and Lawrence Taylor? Probably. So that's where I get that from. Taylor over White. And by the way, Reggie White early in his career played defensive end in a 3-4 defense and was still averaging over a sack a game. So, well, actually, I don't know exactly. When Buddy Ryan got there, they switched to like kind of a pseudo 46 type of defense, and then Reggie White moved to outside a defensive end. But very early in his career, he was a dominant 3-4 defensive end. So. I like what the Raiders are doing through defense. It's pretty good in my opinion, but they replace every position with running backs. Alex with Dan gets his energy drinks and health stuff from Charlie. I'm not on drugs. Hey, thanks, Denver. You as well. I'm 23. I keep thinking, for the longest time, I thought One Pride 40 was like over 50, but he's actually really young. So, yeah. Nothing but, let's see. Going. Oh, my God. You guys are gold today. Oh, God. Yeah, LT is the start for the other two. Yeah, it is and by the way, if you think Reggie White is hands down better than Kevin Green was a monster. Very underrated player. I just don't think Reed will let CEH get a lot of wear during the season. I think carries tops out 220, 240. I was projecting around 45 to 60 receptions. I think he'll have a lot more receptions if he stays healthy. If he stays healthy, plays all 17, I think he might have 80 or 90 receptions. He'll have a lot. He will have a lot of catches this year. I might actually decrease the carries and increase the receptions. I actually think he'll have between like 200 to 225 carries and anywhere between 60 to 80 receptions. He'll have a lot of catches. The 1,600, that's what I think for yardage, though. If you're in a PPR league, you want CEH early. Oh, this is a good one. Start, trade, cut, Brian Urlacher, Ray Lewis, Patrick Willis. Okay. I'd start Ray Lewis. Jesus. That's a tough one, man. That is I will start Ray Lewis. And the only reason I'm going to start Ray Lewis is that Ray Lewis played for 20 years. Willis only played for 10. Urlacher, extremely underrated. So I'm going to start Lewis, and then it's a coin flip. It's really a coin flip. You can't make a bad decision here. Start Lewis, trade Urlacher, cut Willis, and Willis and Urlacher, you could just flip a coin on. Willis, very underrated. Very underrated. Loved his game. And Brian Urlacher in that Lovie Smith defense was as good as it gets. I always, when you talk about the greatest of all time, I put Ray Lewis up there a little higher just because the longevity. If you had put him against Butkus, I would take Lewis over Butkus only because Lewis played over twice as long as Butkus. But if you take both in their prime, probably Butkus. But Ray Lewis, that 2000 season, the year that he went to jail for a few months, that wouldn't happen today. He would have been suspended for several weeks in today's game. But in 2000, the whole incident where he was involved in a murder, whichever story you want to believe, but that season was as good as I've ever seen. I mean, the guy was phenomenal against the pass and just killed people against the run. Also, believe it or not, really, really good locker room guy. A lot of people don't understand. Really was a real good leader. And early in his career, he followed, Shannon Sharp and Rod Woodson, Tony Saragusa, had no problem, following the leadership of respected veterans. And then when he became a respected veteran, other teammates really loved him. Very underrated in that aspect. I think if he gets 300, 350 touches, we'll have over 2,000 Walper. Definitely a possibility. One thing about CEH is that, and the reason why I wanted Chiefs to take him in the second round, he's not a blazer. He's a 4.6 guy. He's slow, especially in the Chiefs offense, but he's a guy who he's a lot of people confuse short and small. He's about 210, but he's 5'7". And behind the Chiefs' revamped, bigger, meaner offensive line, he's going to be like a spark plug. You're going to see a lot of games where he has like 22, 25 carries and like 70, 80 yards, where it'll be like, you just consistently 3, 4, 5 yards, but moves the chains. And then keep in mind, every time you give him the ball, those safeties creep up. And who's got more arm talent than Mahomes in this league? The answer is no one. And you still got the fastest receiver in the NFL you got to watch out for. So that's kind of what I see the Chiefs doing a lot of. So start Ray, trade Brian, cut Patrick, although Brian would be hard. It's a coin flip, man. I mean, yeah, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. Willis, yes. Willis was when they had it was Patrick Willis and oh God, I remember he was on Penn State, wore number Navarro. I forgot his first name, but Willis and Navarro. Oh God, those two guys are amazing. All right, one more. Start, trade, cut. Oh God, you guys are gonna hate me. You gotta start Jim Brown. You gotta start Jim Brown. You trade Walter and you cut Barry Sanders. There's no way you can do it. It's weird, Funk. It's really weird, man. I mean, have you been replaced? Is this the clone Funk? It's weird, man. It's really weird. I want to ask you if you're on drugs, but then the rumor will come around, and we all know I am not. Ray Lewis is dominant, easily the best of Ray Lewis was dominant. I have Ray Lewis higher. In fact, I have Ray Lewis as the greatest middle linebacker of all time. I have him over Butkus, but Butkus played, if I remember right, I think it was like 10. I think it was 9 seasons, but 1 or 2 of them was gone. But at his best, as good as anybody. Ray Lewis, in my opinion, greatest middle linebacker of all time, played 20 seasons. Junior Seau, very underrated. Of course, people remember him from more for the suicide, but oh my God, when he was with the Chargers, one of the best players I've ever seen in my life. I'm in a very small minority. I thought Junior Seau was better than Derek Thomas. I said that all the time. People thought I was nuts. Yeah, I know that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. One Pride 40 came strong today. He came strong today. Oh my God, Stevie's got a tough one. Megatron, Mawson, Rice. God, this is tough because I'm starting Rice. I'm trading Moss. I'm cutting Megatron. God, okay, Moss and Megatron. I'm gonna get hate on this. I got Moss over Megatron by a hair. And I got Rice. So yeah, I know. I would too. And it's killing me. But I had a list top 10 running backs of all time, and it's Brown, Peyton, Barry in that order. And it was hard because I originally had Barry over Peyton, but I flip-flopped the two. And we could talk about that. I don't want to because I could rant for like 20 minutes why. But yeah, it is so hard. Because here's the deal. I saw Peyton live, but I saw him towards the end of his career. I saw him when he wasn't the best running back in football. For the longest time, the best running back I've ever seen live was Eric Dickerson. When he had that 2105 season, I was like, oh my God. And people forget how good Eric Dickerson was. The Adrian Peterson 2,000-yard season, the Jamal Lewis 2000 season. But Eric Dickerson was something was the best I've ever seen. Then Barry Sanders came along. But Peyton's best seasons were actually in the 70s, to be perfectly honest, which is I started becoming a football junkie in 81. Yeah, Barry Sanders is the best running back I've ever seen live. But Jim Brown's the greatest of all time. So I actually saw him. It's funny because the one game that I saw him live, Kansas City won in a blowout, and it was funny. Barry Ward came off the bench to run for 200 yards, which at the time was the Chiefs' record. So, yeah. Wow. Funk would start Moss, trade Rice, and cut the clinic at once. Oh, my God. I don't hate you, but I might start. So, it's hard to go against sweetness. It really is. It really is. And the thing about Walter Payton is that Walter Payton in today's game could play almost anything. He could play punter. He was actually a great punter. He could play quarterback. Walter Payton could be an NFL quarterback in today's game, even though I think he's listed at like 5'10", 5'11". He actually could play quarterback in today's game. Walter Payton could be an NFL quarterback. He could play wide receiver. He could play corner. He could play safety. And, in today's game, to be honest, in today's game, Walter Payton might be a better wide receiver. No joke. He might be a wide receiver in today's game. And what the thing is that he would probably play for 20 years in today's game as a wide receiver, break every record. He could be used as a perfect guy for end arounds. I mean, that's the thing about Walter Payton. The thing about Jim Brown is that he's not known for his receiving ability, but he had excellent receiving ability. He was a phenomenal blocker, but what the hell are you going to use Jim Brown as a blocker for? So was Walter Payton more versatile than Brown? Yes, but Brown's versatility was never showcased. Payton's versatility in today's game would be showcased. I would love to see Walter Payton get like with a coach like Andy Reid, where he would have like 10 carries, 10 receptions. It would be awesome. I got to start Barry. I'm not surprised. Sale over DT as a joke testing. I know. I'm Junior Seau was awesome, man. I think really underrated as the middle linebacker. Ran like a 4.51. I mean, he could outrun wide receivers. Just crazy fast, and he was like 255. Oh God, this is a good one. Reed Dawkins Palomalu. Oh, this is a real good one. Okay, I'm gonna get some hate. I got started Reed. I gotta start Ed Reed. I trade Palomalu and I cut Dawkins, and I love Dawkins. Reed and Palomalu are close. I got Reed over Palomalu. Dawkins is the odd one out. And Brian Dawkins, I love Brian Dawkins. So one pride 40. Yeah. Steve, yeah. Start the oh God. You know, to be honest, I didn't know Dawkins went to Michigan. I really didn't. So I would go free. You would cut Reed. Okay, you trade Reed. Or no, okay. You start the Wolverine, you trade Palomalu, and you cut Reed. All right. Everyone here can't stand Tom Brady. Go check out That's Good Sports. Brian Perna destroys Tom Brady logo head on YouTube. Can you send that to me? If you haven't already, just send it to me. Oh God, this is another good one. Trade cut Sue Donald Prime Gino. Oh God. Oh God, this is a tough one. And I'm the only person who will say this, but it's really close between Donald and Sue. It is so close between Donald and Sue. If it's a 4-3 defense, definitely Donald. In a 3-4, even though Donald's played in a 3-4 defense, I'd almost go with Sue. All right, so final answer. I'll take Aaron Donald. I cut Sue. All right, trade Sue, which would suck because I want Sue on my team so bad. Geno Atkins, very good. But yeah, Geno Atkins, odd guy out. Yeah, I start Donald too. You can argue any other position except running back. Jim Brown was the greatest running back who ever lived. He will always be the greatest running back who ever lived. All right. Derrick Henry last year, picture him with better vision, balance, speed, and athleticism, and that's Jim Brown. Jim Brown was the size of a lineman. He was always the fastest guy on the field. But if you watch Jim Brown, he had the moves, he had the wiggle, he had the balance, vision, body control of a much smaller guy. I mean, you have to understand what he was able to do will never be matched by anybody ever. Yeah, Mike's 100% correct. Trade Atkins, cut Sue. We agree with the first one. Cut Sue. I like Aaron Donald. And this is also true. Multiple teams have let him go. Donald to start, then after an incredible season, trade Donald for a king's ransom. That's not bad. Actually, that's really not bad because it's so hard for Sue. So hard. Oh, Stevie! God damn it. Stevie! Start Sue, trade Donald, cut out. I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all because I think Sue is underrated here on this list. 1,000% keeping Donald interior pressure is very important against playoff quarterbacks. He's best in the league. That's true, but Sue against the run is so difficult, and Sue is just such a monster. Start Marino, trade Montana. Very interesting. I'd be fine with the Chiefs trading a couple of first-round picks for Donald right now. Well, I can tell you that won't happen. They signed Jared Reed, who they are very, very high on, and him and Chris Jones are going to be monsters. Hopefully Reed has a good year. He's playing for a big contract, so it's going to be a tough one. Lions already tried Steve. Yeah, the Lions, yeah. And then start Joe, trade Dan, and cut the – I'd probably start Marino and then flip a coin. Marino equals a joker. All right. Let's see if I can do this. God, this is a tough one. God, this is so hard. I don't think I could do it. I mean, Marino, Montana, two of the greatest ever. All right, here it is. Start Marino, trade Montana, and cut Mahomes. I got Marino over Montana, and it's crazy, but Marino never had a defense. I mean, he just never had a defense. You put Marino on those 49ers teams, I think that there's a good chance they win the same amount of Super Bowls. I really do, especially that 84 Super Bowl. You flip-flop the two quarterbacks, Marino, if that running game and defense, they win. If you want to give me Montana over Marino, I don't hate you. But, I mean, Bill Walsh even said that, Marino revolutionized football. And he actually, Bill Walsh, and I can't find it. I know somewhere Bill Walsh said Marino was better than Montana, which Joe Montana Magic's tough. Mahomes isn't there yet, but Mahomes, the first couple of years of his career, has actually done more than either one of those guys. So it's a tough one. That's a tough one. I think Oliver Bryant's after his cap hit is way too big for the couple of years. Yeah. Montana by far, don't hate it. And especially if you're, Marino choking in the postseason. And I have to be honest, I know Marino's had some good playoff games, but I have to be honest, I don't know what Marino postseason's like. I might have to defer to you, but if I'm just going by regular season, I would take Marino over Montana. But Montana was clutch in the postseason. I can't vouch for Marino, to be perfectly honest. And I like what Mahomes has done in the playoffs so far. So this is a good one. Charles Woodson, Champ Bailey, or Darryl Green? Oh, God. This is a real good one. I'm going to start Woodson. Woodson and Bailey for me are really close. Green's on the back end. So I'm starting Woodson. I'm trading Bailey, and I just cut Darryl Green. So Dan is fried from Healthy People. This is a real good one. This is a real good one. Woodson and Bailey neck and neck. I'm taking Woodson because I love the versatility. And when I say Woodson, that MVP, defensive MVP season he had as a safety kind of edges out. But as a pure corner, as corners, Bailey over Woodson, Woodson over Bailey overall. That's a tough one. Real tough one. That's a good Champ all day, every day to start. Start Woodson, trade Bailey. That's what I got. Pure corner. If you're talking corner and only corner, I'll take Champ over. But that's a tough one. I mean, that could have went with Peanut Tillman over Green. Yes, I would take Tillman over Green. And I love Darryl Green, but Peanut Tillman, I love Peanut Tillman. I didn't know this. I might have, seriously, I might have to take Montana. The thing is, though, that you got to realize is that look at your receivers. Rice for a long time. And then that defense, Ronnie Lott, one of the best defensive backs to ever play. I remember in that 81 draft, Ronnie Lott was one of the starting corners. I can't remember. It wasn't Eric Wright, was it? Yeah, it was Eric Wright. Both those guys went to the Pro Bowl in 81. In 84, they had a ton of play. They had a ton of Pro Bowlers on the defensive side of the ball. They had Wendell Tyler, very underrated. For those of you born in past 19, you probably never heard of Wendell Tyler. towards the end of his career, a really good career at the Rams. He went to San Francisco. Roger Craig was the fullback who ended up being a really good running back. But in the 1984 Super Bowl 19, Craig was the fullback, Wendell Tyler was the running back, and they ran all over Miami's defense. And that running attack was phenomenal. Then you have a Hall of Fame quarterback. So anyway, kind of got one on a rant there, but that might be enough to give me Montana over Marino. So I would have taken Revis over both. Ooh, I'll take Revis over Peanut Tillman and Green. I would take Revis. Revis was a freaking magician in his side off the field. Side, yeah. I get what you, yeah. I don't know if I put him over Bailey or Woodson, but I would put him over Peanut Tillman. So, yeah. I didn't want to use Revis and Sanders because the third guy is cut for sure. Yeah. Sir, we're okay. As just a player, I'm taking Woodson. That MVP, that season he had as a safety, the MVP season puts him over the top. As a pure corner, I'm taking Bailey over Woodson. Bailey, by the way, for those of you who don't know, Champ Bailey was phenomenal in Denver for a long time. Doesn't get credit as one of the greatest of all time, even though he's in the Hall of Fame. Oh, God, this is another good one. Start. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. Gronk, TG, or Kittle. I might change my mind in a few years. But right now, God, that's a tough one. I'm going to start TG. And the reason why I say that is because Gronk's too injury riddled in New England. Now, if he has a great season in Tampa Bay, where he plays that, he didn't have a great season last year. Let's just be very clear. He's not didn't have a great year. Kittle could be a flash in the pan. So I'm trading Gronk and cutting Tittle. That's a good one. Yeah, that's what I got too. Yeah, I love Champ Bailey and feel like his brother Boss just let me down. I forgot about Boss Bailey in Detroit. I actually completely forgot about him. And you know what sucked is that Boss Bailey was phenomenal at Georgia. A lot of people forget that Bailey. They tried moving him to receiver at Georgia, but they had a lot of talent. So, yeah. I'm glad you didn't put Kelsey in there. I'm glad you didn't put – that's a tough one. Oh, God, One Pride 40. I'm going to come back to you, One Pride 40. Kittle can actually block them. Okay, here's the deal. Gronk can block. Kittle can block. Tony Gonzalez attempted the block, wasn't really good at it. But the reason why I like Tony Gonzalez the most is longevity. I mean, he only missed like a handful of games in his 16-year career. So, yeah. This is okay, so now we're getting some good ones. I'm using good subjectively. Start, trade, cut. Gase, Matt Patricia, Josh McDaniels. Oh, my God. I'll be honest. I thought Gase got a bad deal. And I thought he got a really bad deal in Miami. I'm starting McDaniels because I think McDaniels has the potential to be still a good coach. I'm trading Gase, maybe. And I say that because I thought Gase got a bad deal in Miami, but was a shit show in New York. And then I just got to cut Patricia. That's tough. Oh, God. Denver Gator has already started drinking a bit heavily here. Ryan Leaf, Jamarcus Russell, Paxton. Oh, God. I actually, I always pulled for Ryan Leaf. He's one of my actual favorite Twitter follows. Does a phenomenal job, and he also responded to a bunch of my stuff, and it's pretty cool. So I got a soft spot for Ryan Leaf, but I'll say Paxton Lynch start, and then I trade Leaf and Russell. God, what a waste that was. So much talent. So. Yeah, Gronk can do. Boss Bailey at Georgia was phenomenal, and I thought he was going to be a great fit. And he had a lot of speed. I don't know if he was just really. And I think in today's game he would actually be like a hybrid strong safety, and I think he would excel in today's game. But as a pure, like you would know better than I would. But what I got was that he just wasn't physical enough. He was athletic enough to play, just wasn't physical enough. You would have to answer that for me. But yeah. Probably, yeah. Tony Gonzalez easily has the best hands. So yeah, I quit. Then I'm up. Gronk could always play safety for the. If you're not familiar with this, the Dolphins had a last second play where they threw the ball and then they had a bunch of laterals, and then the running back, I'm drawing a blank on running back's name, they put Gronk at safety and then Gronk missed the tackle. So start Lynch. Yeah, wow, I would flip-flop Leaf and Russell, but oh God, Lynch, Tebow, and Locke. Oh Jesus. All right. I'm going to start Locke, and I'm going to trade Tebow because I know I can get a lot of trade for value for Tebow because Urban Meyer in Jacksonville would give me quite a bit. Or Josh McDaniels. Remember, Josh McDaniels traded up to get into the first round to draft Tim Tebow, so I can get a lot of trade value out of Tebow. And then Lynch was god-awful. So, yes. These are great. This is a blast, but we're going on over 145. Guys, I didn't even mention this, but please give me a thumbs up and put a comment below in the algorithm. This helps me a lot. Starting July 7th, if you've been watching the ticker, I'm going to start breaking down all 32 teams. I'm going in draft order. I'm going in draft order for where the teams would be pre-trade. So even though Houston wasn't the third team, didn't draft third, they are going to be my third team. So my first three videos are going to be Jacksonville, which I'm going to do July 7th. Then it's going to be the New York Jets. Then it's going to be the Houston Texans. And I'm going to go in that order. So wait till July 7th. These are going to be good videos. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to do all 32 videos the same way. I'm going to talk about what I like, what I don't like, and then the Vegas over under. And if I am going to put action on that team, I'll release these videos. These videos are free, but I probably should charge because I'm going to actually show you the bet slips, but I'll make a separate video for the bet slips. So don't forget July 7th. Guys, give me a thumbs up for the video. And I'm trying to get to 750 subscribers before football season starts. So if you are not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and please share this stuff with your friends because you guys are gold. I kind of suck, but you guys are gold. I might have to start Leaf, but I don't think I could trade you. Oh, Jesus Christ, Stevie. Nobody here knows who these three guys are. These three. Okay, by the way, all three of these guys were total disasters with Kansas City. I would start Thigpen. I would trade Palco, and Coyle would be on permanent IR. So Locke is my guy. Tebow one. Yeah, I hate to admit this, but that magical season he had in Denver, it was 5 straight wins. Was just amazing. I mean, every game was the same thing. He'd be like 0 for 20. He'd about be ready to be benched, but Denver's defense was amazing, so the score would still be 10-6. And if Ed Tebow can do anything in the last 3 minutes, Denver still has a chance, and he would, and they won like 5 games straight. And they're all the same way. It was something weird for every game. I remember Marion Barber ran out of bounds with like 40 seconds left so they could punt, and somehow Tebow got him downfield. All sorts of crazy stuff happened. It was nuts. And I could I don't play video games anymore, man. But me and you would have some fun. I do know that, man. Him and Teddy Lehman seem to fall apart after great college. I don't remember Teddy Lehman, but yeah, Boss Bailey at Georgia looked like he was going to be a superstar. And you'd have to figure it out. You tell me, because he just didn't seem as physical. Athletically, he was probably one of the fastest, if not the fastest linebacker in football. It just didn't pan out. Take your Jeremy Berkey, Mike Allstott, Derrick Henry, Jerome Bettis. Okay, Jerome Bettis, Mike Allstott, Derrick Henry. I got to go with the bus, and then I'm trading Derrick Henry, and I hate to cut Mike Allstott, but to be honest, Allstott to me is a fullback and not as either valuable as either Henry or Bettis. I will say this: that Derrick Henry can have 2 more 2,000-yard seasons than him over Bettis, but that's a tough one. Bonzo, Stanzi, Gerbach. Nobody knows who Ricky Stanzi is. Ricky Stanzi, as a junior in Iowa, had a really great season, and then his senior season was kind of okay. Never got a chance to play, even though a lot of people in Kansas City loved him. He was a third-string quarterback who looked like he had some great moments and some potential, never panned out. Steve Bono had a Pro Bowl season, even though he should have got benched. So the answer here is Gerbach, trade Bono, and cut Stanzi. And I'm doing the same thing here. How can you cut the best rushing fullback ever? That's the only reason why I cut him, Funk, is because he's a fullback and the running backs are a little more. But yeah. Seriously, a lot of people in Kansas City were furious because they had that 2-14 season. And they were like, just throw him out there, see what you got. And then he ended up, I want to say he went to Jacksonville, never got a chance. So, all right. I'm wrapping this up, but these are really good. These are really good. This is a good one. Start, trade, cut, 0-7 Giants, 2,000 Ravens, 85 Bears. All right. 80 teams in general. Teams. I'm going teams. You could just these defenses, but let's just go teams. 85 Bears. You got to start them. I traded 2,000 Ravens because that was a really good football team, but not really in the class of 85 Bears. Really, Bears way up here, and then the Ravens and Giants. I think the Giants got lucky. I just think that. So, oh, wait a minute. Okay, defenses. Okay. Now, just defenses. All right. The 07 defense, this had the race car defense, very underrated defense. Very underrated defense. That said, not in the same league as either the 85 Bears or the 2000 Ravens. The 2000 Ravens are close to the 85 Bears, but you got to take the Bears. You really got to take the 85 Bears. I did I did top 10 Super Bowls of all time. And as far as defenses of all time, the 85 Bears, I would take the Steel Curtain over the 85 Bears. I might surprise you and take the 69 Chiefs over the 85 Bears. Might. The Chiefs had 6 Hall of Famers. Bears only got 3 on that defense. But Bears would win this one. I think the Ravens over the Giants. But the Giants defense is extremely underrated in 07. I will say that. Is he the best rushing fullback ever? Kimball Anders was good. Okoye was actually a running back. Kimball Anders was very good. Allstott's better. I love the Allstott and Warrick Dunn combo. But the reason why I cut Allstott is because he is a fullback. So, actually, Allstott wasn't even the best. That's debatable. Actually, Mike, you're right. And I'm sorry, I forgot about that. Zonka. In today's game, Zonka would be a running back. But back then they had Zonka and Click, and then they added Mercury Morris as the best trio of all time. Zonka was a fullback, but I mean he was really more of a running back. In today's game, he would be a running back. But Zonka is, I would, to be honest, if you gave me somebody else, I would take Zonka over Allstott. So I agree with you. Man, Warren was awesome. Have a good night. Okay, guys, I got to wrap it up here. But this has been a blast. I can't thank you guys enough for joining. I'm going to do my best to get Luke G on the show next week. I'm listening to you, Mike, by the way. I'm trying to get guests on the show. I haven't had a chance to ask Luke G this week. I'm going to ask him this weekend. Hopefully he'll be on the show. I'll get out the preview sooner. That way you can see it on the YouTube channel. Follow me on social media. All my links are below. Don't forget, give me a thumbs up. Share this YouTube channel with your friends, and I will see you guys next week.